What is up, guys, and welcome to this exciting tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to recreate actually using the Apple Vision Pro without having an Apple Vision Pro, because I didn't get my hands on it and I love the look and feel and the new technology what Apple creates, and so I had to get creative. I got myself my own Apple Vision Pro, so I built a little funny story around it. We just wrapped an apple around sunglasses, as you can see here, and then I tried to make a cool edit which actually looks like I have an Apple Vision Pro, but I wanted to combine it with some trends going on the social media platforms. So now you're gonna learn how to recreate this amazing video, which I think going to perform pretty well. I haven't created yet. I just had the idea yesterday, and you're gonna be live with me creating this video. So we head out this morning and we got 4 different clips. So the first one is, I got my homie Dave to film me pretending to use the Apple Vision Pro, which you can see here. So we got one shot on the scooter. It looks ridiculous, man. Like, how do you come up with that? Don't ask me. And I have another one for the beginning, which you can see here. I think these shots help a lot to get the first 3 seconds really interesting, so people want to continue watching your reel. So we're kicking it off with a stupid video, and we ending the whole reel with a stupid video as well, with me on the scooter. So that's pretty much the idea, and in between we want to have some really nice, realistic HUDs floating around, interacting with them. So basically I just got the GoPro in my mouth. I haven't had the perfect mount, but you can go with any camera that works for me. Sometimes I even just hold up my phone. It's just really important that you use a wide lens, so you have that kind of POV feel and look. So I recorded a clip where pretend to interact with the animations I'm going to build later on. So it's important to think about that. What animations do you want to create later? And build like a synchro, like a story around it. And then here I wanted to choose the bicycle. I'm choosing it, selecting it, and boom, we are going to create an effect like the superhero landing where the scooter comes down, boom. And so pretty much the original shot looks like that. Gonna show you here if you want to recreate it. I'm just walking, boom, and then I tried to keep exact the same position, and then get Dave to bring in the scooter. So we're just gonna do a jump cut like I did here, boom, and then I'm going onto the scooter. And the next one is I'm selecting a building for Radisson Blu, for example, here, to open up their bookings. And like I just thought about some ideas how it actually could look and feel like using the Apple Vision Pro when riding the scooter. But you can do it whatever you want, completely free. And also here I wanted to like maybe change some music, have the Spotify player open. But we're going to see like what windows and programs we are actually using. So basically I just set up the video idea in Premiere Pro, did a basic grading here for the colors. I'm happy with that. Since we are pretending to work or see the Apple Vision Pro, we can go a little bit in a different style with the grading, I would say, because it doesn't have to be 100% accurate real colors. So I have a little bit of a stylish color here. Yes, so pretty much just stitch these clips together, and now it's time to bring them in After Effects. So I'm exporting one clip by another, just by going down with the up and down arrow key and selecting the areas with I for in point and also with O for the out point. Boom. Exporting the first one here. We are going to export it in QuickTime Apple ProRes 422HQ, which gives us a good format, a good quality to work with, and that's the way to go. Choosing the right folder I created before. So I always create the folder with the name of the project, video idea. I'm gonna create an After Effects folder because I know I'm gonna work with After Effects. I have the clips all inside the clips folder. Export, where I put in my exports for sure, others. So I got the LUT in here because I'm giving you the project file so you can use the same LUT as I did here, and also the Premiere Pro folder. I'm creating a new one and call it ProRes and call it clip 1, version 1, and just export it. Boom, this might take a little bit longer. You can also select the clips in a faster way than pressing I and going to the end, pressing O. You can just hover over it and press X, and it's gonna create a selection for you, the in and out points automatically, on the clip based in your timeline. But it only works if you have your timeline selected. If I'm not having anything selected and I'm pressing X, it's just gonna do whatever it does. But if you have the one selected, boom, you save a lot of time. Command M for the export to the folder, we call it second clip, version 1, and do pretty much exactly the same for the 2 other clips as well. Alright, we have everything exported. We are ready to open up After Effects and start creating some nice effects. First of all, we want to create a new project. Boom. With Command Y, you bring up your import window and choose your folder, which is here, the ProRes I'm working with. Open it up. Boom, we've opened up the folder. It imports everything inside the folder with the structure, which is pretty cool. We're dragging in the first clip onto our comp here. Yes, and it automatically created this comp. Yes. Okay, and first of all, we're going to save the project. Command S, choose the After Effects folder or create it, and we call it Apple Vision Pro X Scooter. Boom. Nice. Looking good. Since we want to create a longer effect and we have 2 clips, I'm extending the length by another 3 seconds or 7 seconds. And yes, now we can drag in our second clip, which is the transition. Boom. Yes, looking good. And now I can just go at the end of the frame here, drag in that slider, and with Shift Command X, we are trimming the timeline, the composition to our default length. So first of all, I want to create the motorcycle flying in from above. So we're first of all setting the resolution to 100%, and now we need to cut out the motorbike. There's different methods, so I'm actually duplicating the clip with Command D, right click on it, go to time, and then freeze frame. Boom. That's all we need. So we have a freezed frame. We can actually pre-comp this freeze frame and move all attributes and call it scooter. Boom. And now we have to mask it. I'm just gonna go for the hand masking because it's nice, it's easy for me, and I like how precise it is. So we can actually speed things up, and see you in a little bit. Alright, so we are done with the masking, looking good. Of course, it doesn't have to be 100% because I know it's going to come from the sky, fly down, and you're gonna see a lot of motion blur. It's totally fine, just spending some time on it. So the next step is, I was just feathering the mask, if you could see it, by just 5 5%. I think that's totally fine. Boom. And now the magic's going to happen. We're gonna have the bicycle coming from the sky. So basically what I want to do is set the position keyframe with pressing P. You bring up position, click the stopwatch, the scale, and then open up all the keyframes you have set by pressing U. So this is the final position. With holding shift, you jump really precise. Yeah, if that makes sense. So here we want it all the way up, like really all the way up. Here maybe we can also actually turn it into a 3D layer. We might change the axis as well, and maybe put the scale to 0. Let's see how that looks. All right. Okay, so we are going to smooth the keyframes by a lot. So choose scale, smooth the keyframes by dragging in those dots. We are also smoothing the position keyframes, same. Let's have a look. We're dropping this resolution to half. Boom. But it can come way earlier into frames, so we're dragging these keyframes more to the front, like that. Here, actually we need to see the scooter here, so let's change the position, something like that. Okay, something weird just happened with the keyframes. So here, that's the wrong position. All right, it's looking better. Even like have more time for that. Boom. Boom. So the keyframes, we don't even need to make that smooth because it's not gonna look organic. Same with the scale. Same here. Now we're just trying to tweak it so it looks the best as possible. Let's try something like that. Yes, it's looking way better. Okay, nice. You can try the same. Move the keyframe slightly more in that position. Right. All right, next up, we are going to add directional blur. Just drag it on here, set the blur length to, I don't know, something like 40 maybe. And we are setting the direction to 180 degrees. This is coming from the top. We can even increase that blur. Yes, something like that. Maybe 80. And now we keyframe the blur length going from all the way from 80 down to 0. And at the end, we want to have 0. And now we're going to see how that looks. Yes, way better with that natural motion blur. Okay, so we select something and the scooter comes here. So we can also change the rotation. I think that's going to sell the effect even better, bringing up the rotation, the orientation with R. And now we can play around. I think playing around with the X rotation, it's going to sell the effect. So keyframe the X rotation. At the end, we want to have it at 0. And now we increase it by, yeah, something like -40. So it makes sense. So it comes in. Yeah, it looks more natural. Yes. I think we can even blur it more. Maybe go up to 100 in the blur length. Yes, and this one we're gonna ease out, and the last keyframe we're gonna ease in. So, and to sell the effect even more, we're probably gonna create a shadow. As you can see, here's a shadow on the bike. So we're just gonna draw a circle with the ellipse tool. I make sure nothing is selected, create a circle, something like that. We call that shadow bike, and then we're gonna add the fast box blur and increase the blur radius. Yes, something like that. Maybe the opacity to about something like 70, 8-ish. Yes. I mean, we can bring it up to match it here and make sure the shadow is below the bike layer, and we can cut it as soon as the bike landed, and we are going to need the shadow to move as well. So that's our final position. So we are going to make the keyframes for scale and position as well. Bring them both up with view, dragging to the end. So that's our final position. Maybe we can drag them even down a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. And now we're just manually gonna match the shadowing. Yes. I'm gonna try to have it at the same position. Here we don't see it. And now we can also keyframe the opacity so it looks like it's really coming from somewhere above, something like that maybe. See how that looks. Boom. Yes, went up, and here we're going to go back down to match the natural. Yes, that's definitely looking way better. Okay, nice. I think we can even match it better if we reposition the scooter here and shorten the clip a little bit. So let's go with that. So we don't have to mask out the full scooter again. So I just shorten the second clip a little bit, so it feels more like we are in the flow. So I'm trying to match it again because it just took a second too long. So this one is way better. Here's the only thing. Now it's not matching anymore. So we probably have to do the masking part again. So, but that's part of the process, guys. Boom. Yeah, it just looks not 100% correct. And if you want to do the 100%, you do the extra work. So we can try it one last time, like really make it fit. That's fitting here. Okay, maybe we got lucky. Let's see. So this looks a little bit glitchy, but I think it's okay. All right, I think that's looking way smoother than before, but I'm not 100% happy with that. So I'm going to mask it again. So same like I did before. I'm copying pretty much the layer, freezing the frame, and time freeze frame. I'm going to pre-comp this one, call it Scooter V2, and now I'm just going all around that scooter and masking it again. Alright, so I just masked out the scooter again, did exactly the same, correct the position, and tried to match everything better. So it was worth it, of course, some more time. We have to add the directional blur again, quickly cranking up to 100, and we want to have 180 degrees, keyframe blur length, and here the blur length should be 0. Right here, the end. So that is looking good. We just have one thing, because I had to cut the clip differently. It looks like there's some darkness going on the first clip, and here, boom, is getting brighter. Yeah, we're trying to fix that with some camera lens blur and some darkness by setting up a new adjustment layer. We call it darken plus blur. We're gonna add the lumetri color and the camera lens blur, and we're increasing it like 10-ish, and maybe darken it -1.5. Yes, drag it below our scooter in shadow, and here we need about that length, and we are going to keyframe the opacity from 0 when we see the scooter here going down, and doing the same here again. Copy the 0 keyframe, and let's see how that looks. Boom, that looks a little bit smoother. But we can also make it look a little bit better, or like cover the transition with some smoke. So we go into YouTube. I actually tried on Kyber to see if I can stylize the video a little bit to make it look more like the Apple Vision Pro, but this is not what I'm looking for. So I'm looking in YouTube for some smoke debris, so we can sell the transition a little bit better. Maybe this one works for me. Second one. So I'm downloading this clip just with a free program called ClipGrab, but you can use any software or online website to download YouTube videos. Just gotta Google it, and I'm picking the MP4. I'm gonna grab this clip, put it into my folder. I'm gonna create one. I'm gonna put it into others. That's totally fine. So in the meantime, while it's downloading, we don't have the fast internet here. We can already create some track. We can actually track everything till here. Let's see how the tracker performs if we just throw it on. So we're searching for the 3D camera tracker and go to the settings and choose detailed analysis. So this can run in the background while we're downloading. As always, time for a drink. Get your water and make sure you're hydrated. Nice. Right, the download is finished. We can import the green screen overlay now. Put it into the folder, call it others. The tracker is finished as well. Cool. Let's see how it performed. So we can increase the size of the track points, and looking not too bad. Let's choose some of the tracking points here. Usually just creating references throughout the clip. Let's move it a little bit more up. Something like here. That's where the animation is going to happen. And it's locked. Nice. Okay, cool. So the camera goes till here. Of course, here we need the second track. So we can actually do the same here and just search for the 3D camera tracker. Make sure and go to advanced setting and check detailed analysis. And in the meantime, we can search for the dust. So that's probably the one I'm going for. Here we're going to cut it. Boom. That music no one needs. So we are creating a new comp with that selection. And see. Yeah. That might help the solid transitions. We are searching for a key light color picker. Gonna pick the greens, and yeah, looking good. Now the second track is finished, and we are looking for some tracking points. Look for us. I think this is a pretty good position for another graphic. Place here. So this one is the second track here for the floor. Maybe like bring a little bit up. That might be a good spot. And I want to have something going on the scooter as well. So we want something here. Let's see how that is tracked. So, and with naming the different tracks, it's going to help to remember them, because we want that track point having the solids to copy these positions later on to the graphics we are creating. So this one I want to call scooter track, and this can be the background track, the second background track, and this is the first one. So let's see how everything looks. The track is pretty good, I'd say, pretty solid. What is the scooter doing here? Okay, so the scooter is a little bit weird in the third resolution preview. So what is going on here? Why is the scooter floating around? Oh yeah, of course, because we made the scooter a 3D layer to create the axis, or like edit the axis. So we should have pre-composed the layer first, so it doesn't get affected by the 3D camera, for sure. So we are turning off the 3D camera. Now you can see that the scooter is doing what it's supposed to do, right? Yes, now it's looking good. So we need to pre-compose the layer first, but it doesn't get affected by the 3D camera. Now we can turn on the 3D camera again. Everything is in place, and the scooter is coming down as we want to. I'm going to turn off the darken layer for a second. I don't think it's doing an awesome job, so yeah, we might need to fix it otherwise. So that's pretty good for now. We can add some smoke here, boom, to sell the transition even more, something like that. Yes. Okay, so let's make it a 3D layer as well. And use the position we have for the scooter. I think this position is going to work for the green screen effect, and yes, something like that. Maybe this has pretty hard edges here, so we are going to create a mask it here, and I would say we need to feather the mask to make it look softer. Mask feather, yes, way better. Yes, and here we don't need a layer anymore, so we go down in opacity. Over time, keyframe the opacity of that smoke. Boom. Yes, definitely better than before. Let's start a little bit earlier. Yeah, that's just a little candy. Nice. So next up, I would say it would make sense to create the rotoscopes for the hands. I shot the clip with a higher shutter because I know we are going to need to rotoscope and to track. And with a higher shutter, everything is really sharp, and that's what we want, because that's why the track is pretty clean here. You see, like, it's easy for the program to track everything right with exactly what we want. And also we can now easily rotoscope our hands to have the hands above the actual animations we are going to create. So next up, we are going to rotoscope the hands, and for that we are going to duplicate the clips where we see the hands. So first one is going to be the hand here, where I'm choosing, boom, from here, and the next one is here. I think that hand swiping till here. I think that's fine. Gonna cut here, and the one that we call the first hand and hand rotoscope, and both of them we dragging all the way up to the top, and same for here. Duplicate the original clip, and we call it the third hand rotoscope. Boom. So the hand's coming in about here. Yep. So I'm doing that because we don't need to rotoscope or like rotoscope something a part we don't need, because it costs you extra time and time is rare. So let's now rotoscope these three clips we've selected. Make sure you jump into the full resolution in the preview window, choose the rotoscope roto brush tool here in After Effects, double click into your clip, and now we can draw a selection around the hand. So because I've used the higher shutter, you see my hand is moving fast, but there's no motion blur. So it's easy for the rotoscope tool to actually make a precise analyze, and we have a clean hand. So, and since we have created this rotoscope like in a second, we can later add a motion blur, and we have the different layers. We have it clean, isolated, so we can place HUDs and screens behind it. Yes, so we're going to do exactly the same for the other 2 as well. And I clicked here on freeze to freeze the selection. So now it's clean. So we see here is the green solid is behind it. And you see clearly I'm going over it and it's super clean. Nice. So in full resolution, you see there's a little bit of blacks. We can also shift the edges here. So I have minus 55 and increase the feather. And you see it's feathering here, which can create a better result in the end. Yes, so this is looking pretty clean with the feathering and shifting the edges a little bit. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the hand rotoscope number 2 and number 3. So see you in a second. All right, I rotoscoped the other 2 hands, looking good, really clean.